himself. Are the youngest lad. Johnny, them can't stand with. Vendetta, the struggle only make you better. Them right we off like a letter, but we still a trendsetter. The pain of the fight, all the hate, all the lies on me, that's somebody who me love. Push me another time, make a sing another rhyme. Cut me now, you good and us in the blood. Ready up for them pain and heartbreak. Shut me in it for my love. All of me life experiences, things when me got through for real, build me up as a top. Why say them bad why nine game? Me not have time for chase, me shoot it out one time. I say me love the gal, man, them artists is sexy and clean. But me not gonna name nothing when I cook in a canteen. Do me see me all the while, what make you do not run in. Chat all one them up, them my internet name. Full tip out of the party, well madam me. Nothing personal, I just how we let us stay. Now me telling you the pain, all the fight, all the hate, all the lies on me. Now somebody who me love. Push me another time, never sing another rhyme. Cut me now, you good and us in the blood. Ready up again, pain and heartbreak. Shut me in it for my love. All of me life experiences, things when me got through for real, build me up as a top. Tell them all the while I start weighing up prepare. If you violate me, I have to go beef up your security. I've a leap of y'all, but none of them in a swear for some of them. I never call them back, now them hate me. That I'm not proud of. But I am the alpha, can't rise against me when I'm here the rock of Gibraltar. But sometimes me feel like the world against Alka, but me as the world, me and the money with salsa. The pain, all the fight, all the hate, all the lies on me, now somebody who me love. Push me another time, never sing another rhyme. Cut me now, you good and us in the blood. Ready up again, pain and heartbreak. Shut me in it for my love. All of me life experiences, things when me got through for real, build me up as a top. Man himself. Man himself. Are the youngest lad. Johnny, them can't stand with. Vendetta, the struggle only make you better. Them right we off like a letter, but we still a trendsetter. The pain, all the fight, all the hate, all the lies on me, now somebody who me love. Push me another time, never sing another rhyme. Cut me now, you good and us in the blood. Ready up again, pain and heartbreak. Shut me in it for my love. Man himself. Are the youngest lad. Johnny, them can't stand with. Vendetta, the struggle only make you better. Them right we off like a letter, but we still a trendsetter. The pain, all the fight, all the hate, all the lies on me, now somebody who me love.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Apolitically Incorrect Guyana. My name is KIAN Jabour and not as usual, I'm your host this evening. I know we've had some of the ANUG members kind of running the show over the last couple of weeks, which I think was fantastic. I think it was nice that everybody got a chance to see that it's not a two-man party. You know what I mean? It's not just Tim and I. So I'm really happy to be here now, back in action. I'm going to be bringing those guys back on to me. Adiki is back. So which is why the camera looks very different from what it usually does. This is more the color that I usually am. not very light skin with the red lips. But today I also am doing a call-in show. The phone lines are open at the bottom there. I don't really particularly like to encourage you to call my phone while I'm live because it'll cut out the Instagram. But I'm going to take as many phone calls as I can today. Please, we are in an election year. All right, welcome to 2025. This is going to get exciting. All right, before I jump into that, I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. I missed being here. I was out of the country. I got to spend time with my family and more importantly, my daughter. And I took a chip on my shoulder because a lot of you don't know this, but I guess you'll eventually learn it. And some of you have forgotten it. But when your 13-year-old daughter tells you that this was the best vacation she ever had, means You did a good job. They are very hard to impress. But we did have an amazing time. We spent it in Canada. I was in Calgary. I was in Banff. We were in Edmonton, where actually, funny enough, where I was born. And my sister lives up there, so I got time with her and her family and my mom and uncles. And it was a big group of us. So we had an amazing time. So I got a chance to refresh. My body got a chance to heal. I'm walking on 2 feet again. My shoulder still hurts, but nonetheless, 2025, I'm here with a renewed spirit as to what the next step is with elections. And it's been a big conversation. We're getting lots of messages. What's the plan this year? What are you doing? Who are you supporting? And I'll be honest with you guys. I'm one of the founding members of ANUG. All right. It's something that I hold very close to me, the party itself. I know the principles that it's built on. It's a very democratic organization. It's not, one man running the show. We know all the rumors that you might hear from PPP or PNC that, the party doesn't have professionals or capable people or the following. But the truth is, that party really has built from the ground up, and it was built on the right ideology, the right principles, the right moral grounds. And Tim and I took a step back from the executive this year because it's campaign years. Because honestly, it's not because we've turned our back on the party, but at the same time, we have to make sure everybody has an opportunity. We have to make sure that that we can function in our full capacity if and when needed. And coming up to campaign season, it's kind of an all hands on deck situation. And at this point in time, I'm fully behind ANUG, ready to get things rolling with them. And when I look at the political landscape right now, which is a very interesting topic we're going to discuss, like I said, please feel free to call in. But the numbers are on the screen or on there at the bottom. We have to start looking at other options here. And I'm sorry, I was away for a long time, and it felt like a long time. And I watched what happened during Christmas here. I've watched things that I had to bite my tongue. I didn't want to speak about politics while everybody was on vacation or Christmas time. It just wasn't a political time for me. And there's just a lot to discuss, like the $100,000 cash grant. I mean, it broke my heart to see the teachers having to line up like that. Pouring rain, and just, these are teachers. I mean, they're looking after our children. It was horrible. I watched people fighting in schoolyards, grown people fighting in schoolyards for 100,000 Guyana dollars. And it might sound a little insensitive to say it's only 100,000, but the fact of the matter is it's only 100,000. It's not changing anybody's life. It doesn't even feed somebody for a month in this country, much less a family. And when you see people getting to that level of desperation for it, I think that sends so many signals that we all have to be aware of. We're all in our little pockets of people. We're all in our little circles, our co-workers, our family, our friends, whoever we deal with on a regular basis, classmates, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, we have to remember that the groups of people that we are dealing with doesn't represent the whole country. And if you and your friends and your family and your co-workers didn't have to fight for $100,000, then good for you guys. But there are people out there that are desperate for that money, as you can tell. All right. I just watched a video today or yesterday with, a handicapped guy, crying to the president. And I'm going to take phone calls as we go along, because that's what I promised. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to Apolitical. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but looking at the program, you're not hearing anything.
There's no sound?
No sound.
Oh my gosh, no wonder. Sorry. Let me thank you for that. I will find out. 1 second. I'm gonna ask Adiki. I mean, the guys are going to get it on. Well, Instagram, you've been listening to me. So is that for everyone? Are you guys not hearing me? Yes, I don't know. Can you guys make a comment on the Facebook if you guys are not hearing me? Adiki?
It does sound something wrong.
Oh, so something might be wrong with that guy. Sorry, guys. Please comment on Facebook if you're hearing me. I could hear you. Okay, sorry, sir. My apologies. It might be your thing. It might be your thing. You might need to turn up the volume. People are screaming loud and clear. So, all right, people can hear me. All right. Again, please feel free to call in if you'd like. Again, I can leave you on speakerphone if you'd like, and then you can just listen through there. No, Snap and Cabins can hear me on Instagram. All right, guys, back to the conversation. Yes, we're deep into elections here. I am renewed and refreshed. And guys, we have to start discussing what we are doing for the 2025 election in November. Now, this is my main topic that I want to discuss, even aside from voting and who you're voting for, okay? This is something I have to discuss because it's the most important part, okay? It's the only way you can make an informed decision on who you are voting for, okay? Now, we live in a technological age of Facebook, Instagram, the newspapers, online news, TikTok. Like, there are so many different platforms that people listen to news on, okay? And information on, gather information from. Guys, I know this is a tricky conversation, but because anyone and everyone can now put out information, including me on this show, all right? Because of that, all of you out there have to start learning, especially the older folks. And no insult to anyone, but you have to start adapting and understanding how information moves. And if anyone can make information, it means anyone can spread false information. Now, you sit down there and you say, well, I just look at the ones that seem legitimate. What's legitimate? What defines a legitimate news outlet? Because I watched a headline the other day from Newsroom stating that Barajagio proves that he did not agree. Sorry, I didn't bring up the graphics. This is my fault. We were talking before the show, so I didn't get a chance to give them graphics. Barajagio proves that he did not agree with the Exxon contract when as opposition leader. So I went, okay, cool. Well, let me read that. Open it up, had a read. What do you mean Jagdio proves? Jagdio didn't prove anything. He just said, all he did was in his press conference was say, no, I didn't agree with it then, or I didn't make a comment on it, or something along those lines. And I'm like, that doesn't prove anything. Because as a matter of fact, you have the opportunity right now to make changes. You can speak out right now if you want to change, and you haven't done that. I'm not sitting here screaming, change contract. I do believe in contract sanctity, but at the same time, you're not proving anything, and we have to understand that news. Sorry, guys, one sec. Let me answer. Hi, good evening. Welcome to Apolitically Incorrect.
I don't know if it's me or it's you. I'm not hearing anything.
Unfortunately, it's definitely you, because everyone seems to be hearing me. And I asked my Facebook, because I can see all the comments and they're saying that they can hear me. So
okay, all right.
I just got to check the volume. Sometimes if you just click the volume up, or there might be an unmute button.
Yes. Let me check it out.
I appreciate it though. So believe it or not, it's very nice of him. He really wants to hear what I'm saying, and I appreciate that. So I hope he figures it out. Nonetheless, we have to remember, guys, anyone can make a website, Guyana Daily News, iNews, anyone can do it. Okay, please remember that here. Any of us can make a nice graphic. Look, I'm on a nice show right now. That doesn't mean I'm spitting gospel, okay? You have to determine whether or not what I'm saying is real, you believe it, go and do your independent research. You have ChatGPT, you have Google, okay? Guys, go and do some simple research. When you hear something, you're like, I don't know if I believe that, or whether or not you agree with it, just go and check it, okay? You can, you piece the that's what we have to do in this day. You have to piece stuff together. And now that we're in silly season, I saw my picture on a poster. Apparently I'm going to be the minister of GPL. I like it. I like it. And I did make some campaign promises on my Instagram. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. It's kind of where I talk all my nonsense. I don't, everything else, TikTok and Facebook and stuff is all political. But Instagram is where I kind of, there's a different side of me. But I had a laugh with it, and I made my campaign promises. I said, with our little village of less than 1 million people, I can promise that if I was in charge of GPL, I can stop blackouts within a year. By the way, just out of curiosity, and again, if you don't believe this, feel free to Google it. Whatever happened to those, what is it, like $100 million, $100 and something million in generators that they bought 2 years ago from Honduras? Remember those used generators? Where are those? Can anybody, the power, we have multiple power ships now. I see them putting up hundreds of millions of dollars in electrical pipe towers and lantern posts, I guess, infrastructure going across from the power ship all the way across Houston into South and going down to GPL and South there. And I'm like, what's going to happen when the gas, if that's a big if the gas to shore project comes online? What's going to happen with that? Like, what's going to happen to all that infrastructure? Because that's coming from the power ship. Are we still going to be using the power ships? Now, let me just spiral into that little stupid conversation. So the first thing is, I remember there was a Chamber of Commerce, AmCham. AmCham had a little energy mixer, I think they called it, a couple months back. And the big takeaway, I was supposed to be there, but I didn't go because I was invited, and then I said, no, that's a bad idea. Because I can't stay quiet like everyone else does. The headline that came out of that was, the government is looking to put out a second tender for a second power plant for the natural gas, for the gas energy. And I went, a second one? You didn't even build the first one yet. Only to realize all the calculations that they've done, God only knows how they've done their calculations, because again, we still haven't seen anything. They've already determined before the first power plant is built that they're not going to have enough power. So they're already thinking about tendering for a second one? That doesn't make any sense. Why not build a bigger one then? Why was the original contemplation not that this was going to happen? It doesn't make sense. And then let's get even further into my little spiral into this power situation, because it's what affects all of us most. Let me say this calmly. By the time the gas to energy project comes online, which we don't know when, and the promise the PPP government has made to drop electricity by 50%, by the time all of that comes into fruition, our electricity bills, which are steadily going up, will already be 100% more than they were previously. So when it's cut in half, it will just go back to what it was 2 years ago. So what are we gaining here? Everyone can say right now that their electricity bill has gone up. Everyone. We are paying more for electricity right now than we did last year. So when they do decide to cut electricity by 50%, it just goes back to what it was. Obviously. Then we got 2 power ships that we're paying for, all this infrastructure, a gas to energy plant that still can't provide enough electricity that they've admitted to, so they're already looking to build a second one. And but I guess the laugh is they still blaming Burnham for it, right? I think that's a going joke online. Blame everyone. I think Francis had done a thing on it. It's just ridiculous now. It's ridiculous now. All right. And if they cannot get the most basic necessities down in the country that has the fastest growing GDP on the planet, with less than 1 million people, we are a village anywhere else in the world. What else can't they do? What else is going to be messed up? What else are they going to keep talking about is a problem after 2025, after this year election? Because I guess that's what's happening now, right? Every promise they make is we're going to fix it after 2025. 2025 and beyond. I think is that one of the slogans? With that said, I know you guys are excited as I am. We have budget coming out. on the 17th of January. Now, this is an elections budget, okay? This is a special budget, all right? It should be a higher budget. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I got into a conversation a little while ago with somebody, a friend, and he was telling me, you guys, talking about Anug and the party, he's like, you guys should come out with an alternative budget. Now, I'm going to say something that is the truth, all right? If you were to read every budget or listen to the budget speech, or go and get the 2 or 3 volumes that he's come out with, these big, thick books every year with all the budget and allocation. It's a lot of allocating. It takes a lot to run a country. If you read those and you go through them, honestly, you would sit down and go, this is perfect. You would genuinely do it for APNU as well, because you have to do both sides. If you go through the budgets, you would literally sit down and go, wow, this is a well thought out budget, even though it's just cut and paste. Please bear in mind, this is not rocket science. All they do is up the numbers every year. The actual allocations, areas that they're putting money into doesn't change. Does the numbers change? So don't believe that they sit down, every day. They add in a couple new sectors, oil and gas is a new thing, whatever little areas. But it's a template, more or less. And what's amazing about it is that, again, if you go through any of these 2 governments' budgets, you would think it's fantastic and the country's run. What you miss is that it has nothing to do with what's on paper. It has to do with the execution of the budget, okay? And if you haven't noticed, every year for the past 4 years, they have been coming back steadily. Was it 3 times this year? Or maybe twice, if I'm being generous, that they've come back for supplementary budgets? Does that not mean that you are not doing a good job planning? I love that word planning, okay? Because in the real world, for our families, for our finances, for our, children, for our businesses, we have to plan, we have to budget. But this is how much money we're spending on X, Y, Z, etc. Now, what's interesting about this is my going joke with planning, anytime it comes up in conversation, anytime people are like, yes, but the PPP are so smart, I'm like, but at the same time, what they did to our president was wrong a couple months ago. For months, they decided that they were going to plan to give out some of the oil money to our citizens. And they planned. They said, here's our plan, guys. They wrote it down. They carried it to cabinet. They carried it to parliament. They approved it. All the ministers, the vice president, the whole of the party, all the people, the president himself, everybody saw it. And they made that man, the president of this country, our president of Guyana, walk out in all his fanfare in parliament with all the bells and whistles, cameras on. He stood up in parliament in front of all of the parliamentarians, in front of God, in front of all Guyanese, and he said, we are going to be giving $200,000 per household. This is wonderful. The headlines started. They were all over the place. Oh my God, the president is the best. He's giving $200,000 household. I live in a household. I get in there. A couple days pass, a week pass, and everybody kind of went, okay, well, tell us a little bit more how we getting this money. This man, rather than tell us what a household is, because today we still don't know how they define a household, they send a man back on camera in front of the whole country to say, you know what, we change we mind. We can do 100,000 to everybody above 18. And I went, okay, I even accept that could be a better idea. We need the 100,000, I'm glad for it. But partner, you telling me that for the months you were planning, in front of all you cabinet ministers, in front of all you PPP members, in front of the whole vice president and whoever else was involved in this decision-making process, you telling me that nobody at any point in time stood up and went, but Mr. President or Mr. Vice President, what household, how exactly, how are you defining this? Like nobody asked that in the months of planning before that first announcement. And then I realized, and then I sit there and I go, wait a second, The only logical explanation is these guys are just doing things for headlines. They ain't actually planning anything. This is just for the headline to this day. And then you're watching the execution right now of the $100,000 and you're sitting there going, wow, you people really don't know what you're doing. You people really have no idea. You are making this up as you go along. That's the only logical explanation. You can't tell me that as a human being, you think it's right to got people in their 80s, 70s, 90s standing up, passing out, getting carried out on a stretcher because they stand up so long, waiting for their pension and their money and the 100,000. Are you crazy? Are you actually crazy? You think that's that as a normal citizen, you think that that the people that are giving away this money, the government that is giving us our money, you think that they thought that through? Because I don't. And I sit down here all the time and I say, well, I can't rationalize why they're doing this. And then you see all the comments. You see all the comments. And you hear that they're doing it for the pictures. They're doing it for the publicity. All right? And I don't know what to tell anybody here other than this always boils back down to we need accountability. We need more voices in the decision-making process. All right? If this 100,000, if GPL, if all of that hasn't, like, you know, salary increases, what are they giving now? 10%. I think they already did it. I think it was 10% and then, or 8% or 9%, and then 10% and then 8%, some weird random numbers. That's 30% over the next 3 years. Yet we all know within the last year, all of our expenses have gone up. The market prices have gone up by over 30%. So if prices and cost of living has gone up by over 30% in a year alone, then how can giving people 30% over 3 years be sustainable? It's not logical, right? Just think about this. And then I can get super like critical and I can be like, you know, very pessimistic, and I can tell you guys, oh, they're doing it to make us suffer because they want us to suffer. I'll try not to go down that road, even though it's what I believe. I'll try not to go down that road, but the truth is, guys, we have to realize that we have people that have been running this country since independence. What are we at, 57, 58 years now? And we have to realize now that the only people that are bettering themselves, the only people that are getting to that higher level are politically affiliated people, members of the governments, and again, both PPP and APNU, both sides. When you sit down and you think to yourself, well, who are the people that are making money? Or the companies that are making money? They're either government affiliated or the government themselves. And that's the reality. Okay? You can count the amount of business. I just had this conversation with somebody. And I'm sorry, I came to the same conclusion as they did. Show me. I can count on one hand. The amount of businesses that have become successful in this country, and I mean above medium and small scale, I mean large scale successful, have become successful without government favor, without political favor. Okay? I can tell you that. All right, and I want you to think about it. And name any of the big companies. The reason they have gotten to where they are is the government had to help them at some point. So you had to get government favor. Name one person, name one company that has gotten to the top, that has gotten wealthy, buying new vehicles, blah, 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 that hasn't done it without government favor. Okay, every single one. Even if it comes down to getting a license, whether it's to export gold, whether it's to open a cambio, whether it's to get a piece of land to build on, whatever you think it is, it's government favor, okay? So, because everything is controlled to that point. So, guys, we need a level playing field. That should be my motto. Vote for Anu because we need a level playing field. Okay, we need to make sure that politicians can't determine whether or not we're successful. That's the truth. we have budget coming up. Let me tell you, we got budget coming up. And I'll tell you right now, budget is on its way. Okay, 1 week from now. If they don't lower duties on vehicles, okay? If they don't drop PAYE, cut it in half, okay? If they don't drop corporate taxes, I will even go to a stretch by saying they need to lower VAT, okay? That is how much money we are making. Okay, and I'm not even dependent on the oil sector alone. According to their numbers, which they're gonna have, I'm gonna call it from now, bigger. I can't wait for them to scream how successful all the other industries are. The farming, the mining, the timber, the every other industry, okay? Manufacturing, the this, the that, they can come up with their numbers. Look how much these other industries have grown. Great, great. That means you got sustainable money, partner. Because yes, the oil price fluctuates and it can change. Right now it's great. We minting money. But the other industries are also benefiting, right? So you got the money to do it sustainably. So start cutting our living expenses. Start cutting our taxes. You are getting money from the other sectors. You are getting so much money from oil right now. Cut the taxes. What are we paying so much money for vehicles for? That's crazy. Why are you telling us bring in shitty vehicles? It's unsafe. It's bad for the planet. It's a poor investment. There are so many reasons why we need to be bringing better vehicles in the country, newer vehicles. Just strictly based on the fact that they're safer. Why do we pay 100% more for 2 more doors on a pickup? Nothing changes about the pickup, the length of the pickup, the engine size of the pickup, the wheelbase of the pickup, the width of the pickup. Nothing else don't change other than 2 doors have been added and they shorten the trade to do that. Why are the taxes different? If you guys have a logical explanation, I am all ears. Call in, please. None of y'all calling in, call in. I guess you all are agreeing with me. I actually don't mind any kind of conversation. I know there are viewers to it because people have been calling and saying they're not hearing me. But nonetheless, guys, I am not sitting here claiming to be able to, and I know this is all the PBB's comments. Oh, people are calling. They're listening, you see. Good evening. Welcome to Apolitically Incorrect Guyana. My name is KIAN Jabour. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Jabour. I have a question and a statement.
A question and a statement. Go for it.
Now, the budget hasn't passed us yet, and majority of the Chinese supermarkets has already raised everything, every item in them. So I want to know what's going to happen when the budget passes. Every time this is happening every year. Just before the budget, the price is raised for all items. And then after the budget, it's raised again. What's really going on with us? Is the government not looking into what the Chinese are doing to us?
Oh, you're ready? I'm happy to respond to this. Sorry, I was going to let you make your... That's a question or a statement? Or is both in one?
Both in one, sir. Thank you and have a good day.
You too. Thank you. This conversation angers me. But I just came back from vacation, so I'm not supposed to be angry. You just heard it yourself. You just heard it yourself. I didn't say it. We are watching what is happening with these Chinese supermarkets and these Chinese businesses bullying people out of their professions, out of their businesses, because the local companies cannot compete. Don't tell me they're investors, because as when Tim says it, he is here, he says it, okay? We know the Guyanese, the locals, the citizens of this country need to be given a competitive advantage, not even a level playing field. The foreigners need to pay more taxes because they're using our police when they're getting robbed. They're using we hospitals when they get sick. They're using we electricity to get power. They're using we water when they wash in. Right? They are using everything that we are paying for. Why are they not paying their fair share of taxes? It should be more than what the locals are paying. That is how a country takes care of its citizens. Okay? I will fight for this tooth and nail. You want a minority government? Okay, I'm telling you what I would do in a minority government. I would ensure that legislation is tabled and put out there to make foreign companies not be able to be on a level playing field with local companies. You want to open a supermarket and come in the country, and a foreigner will open a supermarket. The foreign supermarket can pay more taxes than the local supermarket. Good evening. Welcome to Apolitical. How are you? Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Are you hearing me? Sorry, I'm not hearing you. Call back again. I'm in a good mood today, guys. So, if you can call me and yell at me, just do so, nicely. All of you who have such horrible things to say about me on Facebook, please call in. Tell me so I can at least get a chance to respond and defend myself. Nonetheless, guys, back to I'll even go further into this, and this is very important to me because it's something that I think no country can grow without, and that is our professionals, okay? That's our doctors, our nurses, our engineers, our teachers, our accountants, our lawyers, our this, our that, okay? Our professionals, okay? Our scientists, for all I care, okay? Now, let me explain why this is so important that these people are paid more money. Now, the country cannot grow if you only have square pegs in round holes. I go back to something I put out on social media a little while ago. You got a minister that don't know nothing about building road. You got a minister of agriculture that don't know nothing about building dam. You got a minister of education that don't know nothing about building school. But yet you're putting big budget and putting construction projects underneath their ministry, claiming the ministry are engineers. And at the end of the day, look at the trash that's going on. You had to hold a whole meeting and cuss up everybody. Ain't cuss up, but abuse up everybody. And tell them that they don't know what they're doing, including your own ministers, and pulling them up and calling them out on their whatever they're incapable of doing. But these people don't have any experience in this. They're not educated in it. How are you asking? That's like asking me to go and do brain surgery. I can't do it. I have not been trained to do it. How are you going to ask a man that don't know nothing about engineering or construction or project management to make sure this road building good? He don't know nothing about building road. And then you want to know why all of these projects go into garbage? It's logic. So again, if all of our professionals are leaving the country for better, thank God for the oil industry, because it was the only reason that a couple of professionals are still here. But even that, there's only limited space. And at the end of the day, we are watching every day more and more people leave. The teachers, the doctors, all horribly understaffed. And then the ones that are left are the ones that are just doing it for a paycheck. They're not even doing it. Some of them, yes. I'm not talking to you out there that love what you do, because I know there are those, and I know that are sitting there saying, oh my God, I wish I could be better compensated because I want to do this, but yet instead I go and do lessons or do private healthcare, nursing, and people home when you finish your shift at the hospital. I know you're suffering. And I turn to anyone and I say, you have to, we, the people, have to do better for our professionals. Those are the people we need to defend. We want our roads to be built better. We need to make sure the engineers are paid better and are staying in the country. We want to go into hospital and get better care. We need to make sure the nurses are being better taken care of, so they'll be happier and more willing to do a better job. Not having to study, oh God, when I done here, I gotta go pick up my child, drop it after my neighbor to look after, because I gotta go look after these old rich people because I need extra money. And the same thing with the teacher. I gotta go and carry my child to drop off somewhere because I gotta go to lessons, and then I'm not coming home till 7 o'clock in the night. Then wake up a couple hours later and do it all again, just because they can't live on the little pittance that they're getting from their actual job that they love. We have to take care of these people, or we will suffer. You guys don't understand that? You don't understand that we are the ones suffering because other people are not being taken care of that we need? You You don't understand. People dying on the roads because the police are not doing their job properly because they take in bribes. And they take in bribes because the ones at the top take in bribes, and then they also sitting there against them. I mean, even getting paid enough to look after my family. What are they getting paid? $200,000? I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm getting more people. Adiki, you're getting more people here telling me that they ain't getting sound. Is there another sound issue? Adiki? He's saying no. Well, I hope. Sorry, guys. My apologies. I'm not sure why we're getting in and out sound, but Instagram is hearing me well. Talk to you guys, all four of you. Nonetheless, guys, it's at some point, and this is what I'm trying to put across here. It's at some point in time, all of us kind of need to start realizing that we can't do this ourselves. It's not a one-man show. All right, we fight it for ourselves. We're hearing you from TBN page, but we're not hearing you from your profile. Oh. All right, sorry, I can answer this. Not personal. Sorry, I know it's streaming live on my Facebook page again. Sorry, guys. Go onto my Instagram or onto Critics page. The Adiki, that might be coming from my computer here, no? From the sound here? Sorry, guys. Yeah, he's coming across. We'll be okay. Nonetheless, yes, back to what I was saying. Guys, we reach a point now where... okay, business people. Go ahead, come on. Snatch it on. Go for it. Business people. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care what business you're in. You're in a supermarket business. You sell clothes. You got an online shop. You got a restaurant. You drive taxi. Whatever, you run an airline, you're a pilot, you're a this, you're a that. I don't care what you do. You got sound there. All right, cool. Right? Thank you, Adi. You guys have to realize at some point in time here that if everyone in the country has more money, then more people will have more money to spend on your business. If we all look out for each other, we will all be better off. I don't need to be in politics. Let me rogo on my little rant. I don't need to be in politics. I can do what half of you out there, no, more than 90% of you out there, would look at me right now and say, I can't believe how stupid you are, Kian. You wonder to yourself, well, why are people calling me stupid? Because with the platform that I have, with the political, narrative that I push, all right, the truth is, I could just stop doing what I'm doing, which is the smart thing in Guyana, and I could just go and get some contracts, because it seems like anybody could get contracts now, right? I could just go and get some contracts, whether it's cutting grass, cleaning gutter, I don't care as well. Get big money contracts, that thing is millions of dollars, right? And I could all of a sudden become more well off. And what would be amazing is 90% of the population out there would sit there and say, bye, you're a smart man, look how much money you got. You're a smart guy. And they would look at me with admiration and respect because it's solely based on the fact that I have more money. Now, at the end of the day, what you haven't wrapped your head around, and if you haven't looked at other examples in the political arena, in the business arena, of people that become dependent on one government, guess what happens when the other one comes in? All them contracts get pulled. You just go back to walking on flat foot. All right? It's not a good business idea. It's not sustainable. Yeah, but I can make so much money right now that I can be all right. No, you won't. Because right now, all y'all are getting construction contracts. If you don't run and get the next contract, what's going to happen? You can be able to pay all of them debts you owe to the stone companies, and the sand, and the cement, and the steel. What you can do, and the labor. We know most of you are in debt, heavily in debt. So now you are more dependent on the government. That is what you think is the wise move. That is the intelligent thing to do. And then pray to God that they get voted back in. And why I say pray to God is because I don't even want to claim to be a smarter person, but you understand how politics works, right? It happens in cycles, okay? Every politician knows this, all right? You are the only one that doesn't if you think the PPP is going to be in power again for another 20-something years. That's laughable, okay? If your survival is solely dependent on whether the PPP is in power or the PNC is in power, you are not a good businessman. You are not an intelligent person. You've put all your eggs in one basket. Every big player in this country plays both sides, except for you, the small contractor who think that he $20 million contract that he got to go in debt to complete, thinks that he's smart. And puts all his eggs in. Come on, guys. If I have to explain this to you, something's wrong. Be an intelligent business person. Think about your family's sustainability. Let's say, God forbid, because we know the Americans are not big fans of the PPP. Let's talk it out. Let's talk straight. All right? Let's talk honestly. The Americans clearly, as we have been able to see, are not fans of the PPP. Okay? So, and their corruption. So, with that said, let's say by some horrible situation, the American government decide to sanction Barra Jagdeo and Air Finale a week before elections. You can't do nothing about it. You don't know what's America plan. I don't know what's America plan. What are you gonna do? Because they can lose the election. And what are you gonna do then? Now, as a businessman, anything is possible. I have to know that. So guess what I don't do? I don't become politically dependent. I don't run around wearing a red t-shirt, standing up on the stage or on the campaign trail saying, I dare with y'all. What? And when shit goes south, because the internet, don't forget, I got my friend we named Francis Bailey. Every time, he's making me laugh. Every time you see nonsense, somebody post, somebody soup drinking, somebody writing nonsense, pulling shit out their ass and claiming PPP is great, the man is click and screenshot it. So all of you out there that's screaming online, please believe me, somebody's recording it. Not just everyone. I screenshot. I got my fair share of things. I screenshot everything. Every time, even if I don't think it's relevant, click. I say, this is an interesting one. I might be able to use this later. So all of you out there that, firm and hard and deal with the government or deal with APNU, let me tell you right now, it's all being recorded. When the time comes, and it will come, because politics is a cycle, I hope you know what you have created for you and your family. When you stop getting contracts and you're still left in debt, I hope you got a plan partner. All right? Because being politically dependent is just horrible move. Horrible move. Stay out of politics if anything at all. Just don't get involved at all. If you're happy, if you're out of politics and the PPP is doing a good job and you're making money legitimately and you don't got pay bribes 30% and you don't, somebody make me laugh the other day. They say half the contracts that they gave out the other day in Barbies were for roads that were already finished and they taking pictures. Anyways, I found that funny. Nonetheless, I want you guys to know that when it's all said and done, you have looked out only for yourself and you'll be left by yourself. All right, that's the reality. I'm not standing up here defending me. I'm not standing up. I'm back to politics and what I don't need to be in. I'm not here because I am dependent on the government. I'm not here because I need anything. As a matter of fact, it's the complete opposite. I'm in a very fortunate position. I say this to everyone, guys. I'm here in Guyana, doing this and taking all the pressure. And I just want to say this. I've been doing this since the government changed. I fought in 2020 to get rid of APNU when they lost the election legitimately. And then they tried to rig it. Okay, I fought alongside the PPP. Now, when the PPP gone into power, I will call them out for the same bullshit that APNU was doing, their corruption, their mismanagement, their friends and family cronyism. I will call it out. Okay? And I have been doing this. I'm one of the only ones that have been doing this from day one. And I've been taking the pressure. All right? I've been taking the pressure. Why? Because I'll start with the basics. I have a daughter here. She's growing up in this country, and I'm going to make sure that I at least try my hardest to give her the best life possible. And that doesn't mean money will solve all my problems, because if there's one thing I've noticed about people with money in this country, they leave much, much more often than they stay. Because I guess money just means the ability to leave. So with that said, I've realized, wait a second, so money's not going to make my life better in Guyana. What it's going to do is it's going to make sure that my daughter can buy more plane tickets and then get out of here as quickly as possible. No. As she's here now, and to give her the opportunity if she wants to come back, the fact of the matter is I have to try my best to make Guyana at least a safe country, at least a country with opportunities for people that, you know, are willing to put in the work. That's it. Nobody should need to kiss the ring. Nobody should need to go to the diamond ball and take pictures and kiss ass in order to make sure they get some political favor to make some money, or to get a license to export timber or upgrade themselves in their public service. This is nonsense. Or get a promotion at GRA or a promotion in the police force. You got to be political to get to move up. You can't just do a good job. That's craziness to me. Okay? So with that said, at bare minimum, I'm going to try. And I'm telling everybody, politically, I'm putting my vote anywhere except for PPP and PNC. I'm currently with ANUG. All right? And I'll say this openly. I know it's a slogan out there to all the old heads. All right? Party over people. Okay? Party paramountcy. Okay? Make sure the party is good. That's how you create loyalty. Okay? And make sure the party people are better off than everyone. Well, guys, fortunately, ANUG was built on better principles than that. And I'll tell you right now, if another political party is formed that I can get behind, that has a better chance, is legitimate, good people, decent standing, as decent as ANUG, I will get behind that as well. Okay? I'll campaign for 2 parties. Okay? That's how committed to this I am. All right? I'll campaign for 10 third parties. Okay? The more parties in parliament, the better. I will stand up right now. Any third party that comes, that is legitimate, has good people behind it, I will get behind. And I will promote you. I will use any platform I have. All right? Anything I can to ensure that those people are taken care of. All right? That's my promise. All right? Because I know that we need a minority government in order to hold this government accountable, in order to make sure that they're not just helping their friends and family, and there is a level playing field, and foreign companies pay their way. Okay? Because right now, Guyanese are being treated like second-class citizens. A man asked me just now, how many Guyanese... I have a question for you guys. How many Guyanese do you guys believe have $100,000 or more in their bank accounts right now? And you know, the two of us, we just had a basic conversation. It's not somebody I chat with every day, just somebody who's passing. And the person told me he thinks 90% have less than $100,000 in their account. You know what I like to do? I know some of you out there do it. When you go into the ATMs, was check them slips. Them little white slips. It doesn't tell you whose one it is. It doesn't tell you nothing. Just pick up a couple and just be like, oh, people, it rough out there, partner. It rough. People live in day to day, month to month. All right. I do have a lot more to talk about, but it is the first week back and I don't want to sit down here and be repetitive. Please vote third party. Please vote anybody except for PPP and PNC. That's why I'm starting the campaign. All right. Please look out for other people. All right, guys. You can't survive by yourself. Even those in the PPP, even those getting the corrupt contracts, you couldn't do that by yourself. And we know it's only backbiting going on, and then who greedy and who ain't get more money, who ain't get this contract, and who getting more than them. It's just every man for himself, and everybody's just desperate and clinging to straws now. All right, guys. We have to do better in the country. All right. I'm starting you guys off with that on our first show of the new year 2025. Is budget? I don't know. Is budget? I don't know what Friday is, but I think budget is coming out soon, before my next show, maybe. But if it does, I'm going to have a very interesting conversation, and I'm going to state it one more time. Drop PAYE to at least half. Cut VAT. Drop duties on vehicles 20% across the board is fine. Okay? That's all it needs to be, because right now no less than 1% are paying for the big duty-free vehicles, for them big luxury vehicles. So if we're not making money from it, you can drop it. You don't even need the money because it's not making no money. 20% across the board. Okay? So everybody could buy a fancy vehicle. All right? That's what's the other one? Corporate taxes for the businesses. Yes. Corporate taxes for the businesses. Give the Guyanese an opportunity to make some money from our small and medium scale businesses, because this 40% thing ain't walk-in partner. All right? NIS. Get NIS in order. People depend on that. You're forcing people to pay it, and then you're struggling to get them back the money when they reach injury or retirement age. You can't got old people doing that. That's wrong. All right? These are my things for this budget. You want people to vote for you. You want to show everybody that you're doing the right thing, that you care about the Guyanese citizens, and you're not just hugging up people and taking pictures and promising them the world and not finding them back. All right? Then do that. Good? Lower PAYE to 10%. Okay? You got to pay taxes. Everybody know they got to pay taxes. Nobody's sitting down there and asking for tax-free living. All right, maybe when we reach Dubai and Qatar and them countries' time, but we're not there yet. But for now, you can lower it. We're less than 1 million people making enough money. Okay, take care of the teachers. All right. All right, guys. On that note, we are almost out of time. Adiki, we are all done. I hope you guys have a wonderful second week of the new year. All right, please spend it with your families. I'm going to tell my daughter I miss her because I just spent 2 whole weeks with her. We traveled a little bit. We got a chance to see everything. And I used to be with her every day. And now she has school. It's not nice. I'm all by myself. All right. I know she's watching on Instagram. All right, guys. On that note, thank you for having me. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Please be safe. The roads are dangerous. Oh, I have to mention it. Please. It's not just the roadways anymore. The workplace. All those people in the workplace. We have watched the workplace deaths, including that unfortunate incident at the Harbour Bridge. I think we had 30-something deaths over the last year. It has skyrocketed. Well, what is the meaning of safety in Guyana? All of us, Guyana's up there, safety with the oil and gas industry. Why? Because people wearing reflective vests and hard hats. That's what we have deemed an upgrade to our health and safety. Because if 60%, if 3 people die in a month, were you trying? I don't understand. What do you mean this is progress? If more people are dying on the job, in the workplace, how could we have moved forward in health and safety? It's really, really tragic. People should not be dying. Are companies paying these families compensation? What's going on with that? Companies, and then I sit there and I say, yeah, because it's sad, because I sit there and I run a business myself, so I know how much money it costs for people to put more health and safety measures in place. It's expensive. And we're already barely skimming by. Expenses gone up, taxes like crazy. So it's hard to do. So I'm not even sitting there blaming anyone. A system has to be created for health and safety, for the workplace, for our average worker safety in every industry. Look at Trinidad. Trinidad's numbers. I saw somebody give me a comparison. They sent it to me on WhatsApp, and it's like over the last 3 years combined, Trinidad has had less deaths than this year alone in Guyana. They've had less than 30 deaths over the last 3 years. Then there's a bigger population than ours and a larger workforce than ours. So we are doing something wrong. And it's the government's job to monitor health and safety in the workplace. They are supposed to be sending people around to all the businesses saying, are you up to standard? To protect our citizens. People are dying. We just watch them big container trucks, half of it falling off. Look what's going on our roads. Come on, guys. Anyways, I'm glad I used that time for my few minutes. All right. On that note, guys, thank you very much. Please be safe on the road and at your workplace this week. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me on Apolitically Incorrect. My name is KIAN Jabour. I will be back here next week. Have a great weekend. Take care.
What is it? I'm the youngest lad. Johnny. Them can't stand with vendetta. The struggle only make you better. Them right we off like a letter, but we still a trendsetter. The pain of the fight, all the hate, all the lies.